Good morning, everybody. Today, I do want to get your thoughts. I want to get your perspective on what's going on, specifically with the real estate market. Are we in a real estate recession? Is it a buyer's market already? Do you think that we're still in a seller's market? I'm, of course, going to give you some data and I'm going to tell you what I think. But come on now, at the end of the video, give your thoughts, leave some comments. Let me know what your friends are saying, what you're seeing, what your trusted realtors are telling you, right? I definitely want to know that. So, welcome to Jerome in Real Estate. We're going to get into it real quick here. Let me get you some info. All right, before we get started, I definitely want to apologize because I have not been doing videos for a couple weeks now. It might be 3 even. So I definitely apologize for that. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave some comments because I definitely want to know that you're into some of the data that I'm giving you and you want to see more of this information. Where are we when it comes to the real estate market? Are we still in a seller's market? Are we in a buyer's market? Are we flat? What are we doing? I'm going to go ahead and just straight out tell you that I believe that we're in neither. We are sort of rebalancing, and it's going to take a while for us to kind of figure out where we're going to end up. When I say rebalancing, I mean that we were just skyrocketing for 2+ years there. Actually, a little bit more than that. That was unsustainable. The pace was unsustainable. So now we're coming back down and we're trying to figure out where equilibrium is. So I'm calling it sort of rebalancing. All right. So I'm going to give you a couple of numbers here. The first set that I'm going to talk about are active listings. All right. So right now I'm just talking about the Pikes Peak area. So September 2022, this past month, right? Active listings in the Pikes Peak area hit 3,371. 3,371. Now, if you compare that to the previous year, September 2021, we had 1,913. So that tells you that there are more active listings sitting on the market, getting onto the market, and waiting to be sold. That should tell you something right there that, okay, well, they're not being snapped up at the same pace, right? The next thing I'm going to go into is the average days to sell, right? So in this area, just this past month, 2022, the average days it took to sell was 24, right? 24 days. Take it back a year, 2021, September, it was 10 days. So it's almost double, right? Once again, that already tells you that they're not being snapped up at the same pace. But to keep this in perspective, right? Even though it's double the amount of time and double the amount of listings, you got to keep this in perspective. What is the average days it takes to sell a home in a balanced market? Well, that's actually somewhere around 30 to 60 days to get something under contract, get it sold, right? And right now, we're only at 24. Sure, we're moving up, but is that really that long? No, it's not. Now we're going to talk about the months of inventory. This is basically how long, if no more listings went up in the area, how many months would it take to dry up the inventory, right? This past month, September 2022, the months of inventory that we had was 2.5 months. So if no more listings hit the market, in 2.5 months, supply would dry up, okay? Compare that with last year, September 2021, what was our supply of inventory at? It was at 1.1 months. Okay, so once again, you see a doubling, right? So because we're seeing such a sharp increase in these numbers, everybody's kind of saying, oh my God, you know what? We're just hitting real estate recession, blah, blah, blah. But once again, you have to put it in perspective. In a balanced market, what does your month's supply of inventory look like? Well, that looks like 5 to 7 months of supply. That's in a balanced market. That's not even in a buyer's market. That's just in a balanced market, right? So we're doing still we're still technically in this area, Pikes Peak area. What could you call it? If you just go by the numbers, you could still call it a seller's market. I'm not going to call it that because you still have to work in where the trend is going. And I know where the trend is going, right? But I definitely cannot say that this is a buyer's market. This is not an all-out buyer's market. It's better for buyers. There's more negotiation. They've got more chips on the table. Okay, so this is definitely what I'm going to term a rebalancing, and it's very important to keep that in mind. So naturally, you're probably wondering, okay, well, what does this mean? You know, what should I be? Should I be tense? Should I be stressed out? Um, what about me as a buyer or a seller? Give me some advice. You know, cut all the data. Just give me some advice. Well, the advice is this: get yourself like a cappuccino if you're into that, some coffee, right? If it helps to keep the stress away, get yourself a nice little cigar, and then really think about what's actually happening. Everyone's situation is a little bit different, right? Um, you're not going to have the same situation as your neighbor or as your friend or as your family member, no matter what people tell you. It doesn't really matter what the market is like. But generally speaking, my advice is just to calm down and to actually look at what's happening. Nothing is extreme right now, right? There has been a big U-turn um, towards a buyer's market, but we're actually not there yet. The numbers I just talked about kind of explain that, right? So that means buyers, you're gaining back some negotiating power. You're starting to see buyers get concessions from sellers. You're starting to see home warranties, get thrown into the deal. Sellers are more apt to fix issues that come up on the inspections, right? All these things gives you a little bit more negotiation power. As far as sellers are concerned, and sellers, you need to prepare. You can't just throw anything on the market and expect it to go like that. You need to actually know that you're going to sell the property, prepare to sell the property, act as such, and then you actually need to continuously look back at the market with your realtor and figure out what your course of action needs to be on a week by week basis. Even though you've got your plan laid out, you need to come back and reassess what's actually happening and if your plan is actually going to pan out, right? So stay calm, get your coffee, get your cigar if you need it, and then move forward. That's all you can do.